Coming up on 5 Minute News. Donald Trump, Ivanka, Don Jr. subpoenaed by New York Attorney General. US Senate to vote on change to filibuster for voting rights bill. And Omicron variant delays return to US schools and workplaces. It's Tuesday, January 4. I'm Anthony Davis. The New York Attorney General's office confirmed on Monday that it has subpoenaed former President Donald Trump and his two eldest children, Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr., demanding their testimony in an investigation into the family's business practices. Attorney General Letitia James's office said in a court filing that it recently issued subpoenas seeking testimony and documents from the Trumps as part of a years-long civil probe involving matters including the valuation of properties owned or controlled by Trump and his company. Monday's filing, made public as James went to court in a bid to enforce the subpoena, was the first time that investigators publicly disclosed that they are also seeking information from Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr., both trusted allies of their father who've been executives in his family's Trump organization. Lawyers for the Trumps filed court papers on Monday evening, seeking to block the subpoenas, calling them an unprecedented and unconstitutional maneuver, and accusing James of attempting to obtain testimony that could be used against the Trumps in a parallel criminal investigation being overseen by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. James has spent more than 2 years looking at whether the Trump organization misled banks or tax officials about the value of assets, inflating them to gain favorable loan terms or minimizing them to reap tax savings. Despite their names, they must play by the same rules as everyone else, said James. These delay tactics will not stop us from following the facts or the law, which is why we will be asking the court to compel Donald Trump Jr., and Ivanka Trump to testify with our office under oath, James said in a statement after the Trumps' move to block the subpoenas. 3 days before the anniversary of the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced the Senate will vote soon on easing filibuster rules in an effort to advance stalled voting legislation that Democrats say is needed to protect America's democracy. In a letter on Monday to colleagues, Schumer said the Senate must evolve and will debate and consider the rule changes by January 17, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, as the Democrats seek to overcome Republican opposition to their elections law package. Let me be clear, wrote Senator Schumer, January 6 was a symptom of a broader illness, an effort to delegitimize our election process, and the Senate must advance systemic democracy reforms to repair our republic, or else the events of that day will not be an aberration. They will be the new norm. The election and voting rights package has been stalled in the evenly split 50-50 Senate, blocked by a Republican-led filibuster with Democrats unable to mount the 60 votes needed to advance it toward passage. So far, Democrats have been unable to agree among themselves over potential changes to the Senate rules to reduce the 60-vote hurdle, despite months of private negotiations. Two holdout Democrats, Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, have tried to warn their party of changes to the Senate rules, arguing that if and when Republicans take majority control of the chamber, they can use the lower voting threshold to advance bills Democrats strongly oppose. President Joe Biden has waded only cautiously into the debate, a former longtime senator who largely stands by existing rules, but is also under enormous political pressure to break the logjam on the voting legislation. Voting rights advocates warn that Republican-led states are passing restrictive legislation and trying to install election officials loyal to the former President Donald Trump in ways that could subvert future elections. How the Senate filibuster rules would be changed remains under discussion. Some school systems around the US extended their holiday break on Monday or switched back to online instruction because of the explosion in COVID-19 cases, while others pressed ahead with in-person classes amid a seemingly growing sense that Americans will have to learn to coexist with the virus. Caught between pleas from teachers fearful of infection and parents who want their children in class, school districts in cities such as New York, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit and beyond found themselves in a difficult position midway through the academic year because of the super-contagious Omicron variant. New York City, home to the nation's largest school system, reopened classrooms to roughly 1 million students, with a stockpile of take-home COVID-19 test kits and plans to double the number of random tests done in schools. While the teachers' union had asked the mayor to postpone in-person learning for a week, city officials have long said that mask requirements, testing and other safety measures mean that children are safe in school. The city also has a vaccination mandate for employees. Across the US, new COVID-19 cases have tripled in the past 2 weeks to over 400,000 a day, the highest level on record, amid a rush by many Americans to get tested. As of mid-December, around 72% of the population of the United States has been given at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccination, but only 61% are fully vaccinated. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.